As far as pay-per-view numbers go, AEW Double or Nothing accounted for 115,000 pay-per-view buys across all their global platforms. If true, this makes it the second highest buy rate for the company in paper as far as pay-per-views go in its brief history. This also makes it one of the more profitable pay-per-views they've ever had, second only to AEW's Revolution back in March. And we've seen over the pandemic, Trevor, AEW has consistently been either right around or above the 100,000 pay-per-view buy numbers, which is way more than TNA ever had. Largest numbers we've seen since WCW back in 2000, they're like catching up to some WWE B pay-per-views when they used to do pay-per-views back in the day. So we are seeing AEW, even though there's a pandemic, they don't have fans. We're seeing like their pay-per-view numbers like consistently get better. And a lot of the problems, like people thought a problem that AEW could have was people might go away or they might turn away from the product. But instead we've seen them come back to the product consistently, and it's just getting better. So what do we make of the sustained success of AEW? And do you think the return of fans is going to help them maybe improve these numbers?
I think the return of fans couldn't help. I mean, couldn't help, Lord, could help tremendously. But no, like I honestly think they're just gonna keep going up. Honestly, the product's good. They pander to the fans, even during the pandemic when there were no fans there. They still pander to the fans. I think they have the right formula for what they're doing right now, and as long as they expand on it in a positive way, I don't see their numbers falling too many at all. I've seen the numbers actually just expanding.
Yeah. I mean, like they're just, it's crazy. It's just crazy what they've been able to do in such a short amount of time. And it's a real testament to like, not just the leadership, but the wrestlers on the roster. Like they have done an amazing job at entertaining people through this pandemic. And I think there's going to continue to be that way. And it's going to get better because once we see, like one thing the wrestling has really missed has been the crowds. Wrestling has really missed the crowds. And once we get the crowds back, and once you see that there's absolutely nothing in wrestling like an AEW crowd on a Wednesday night. Every single one of those crowds were amazing, and we really took them for granted, I think, before the pandemic. So I think having them back is going to be great. I think that it's also going to help them with pay-per-view buys, hopefully. So we'll see where that goes. Then the other question a lot of people have is like, what's the ceiling, do you think, for AEW? Like, what is their actual ceiling? That's a good question because we haven't seen, like we know they're never going to be, or they're like anytime soon at least, they're not going to be WWE. Right. And that's not even what they're going for. They want to be a wrestling company. So it's a little more niche than just entertainment. So, but what is their ceiling, do you think?
You know what, though? Like, that's a very interesting question, but I don't think either one of us really know the answer. Like, I don't think we know right now. Like, I mean, it could be coming up. Their ceiling could be right around the corner. But you know what? I don't think so, and I just don't know when it is. Like, I honestly believe it, as much as they have improved their product from their very first Dynamite show, even before that, their very first pay-per-view, it's leaps and bounds. It gets better and better each time you see it, and their clientele, their performance gets better and better each time you see them. Like, and it's different superstars. It's not always the same, and even the same superstars don't look like the same because they perform better. So it's one of those things where, like, I honestly don't think there is an answer for this question, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. See, for me, when AEW was first conceived, I always thought, like, when I thought of it, what it was going to be, it was like thinking it's going to be like a very much all-in type of vibe. Like, remember that pay-per-view they did, All In? I thought it was going to be like the King of the Indies. Like, this is going to be like where all these wrestling companies meet and merge and just create. And I think AEW has been able to do that. We've seen that with the Forbidden Door opening up. Thank you, Tony Khan. We've seen that with all these companies, like all these talents mixing in. But they've been able to create an identity of their own in AEW and their own superstars, which I think sets them apart from even the expectations of some fans like myself. And I think this company, like they are going to be, they have the potential to be the best wrestling company in the world.
They do.
And
They do.
first of all, like if you're talking about best in-ring product, they are the best in-ring product in the world. But sorry, at least in the United States.
Let's say it,
Dave Meltzer, at me, bro. But didn't happen in Tokyo Dome. Oh wait, but the Young Bucks are in there. 8 stars. But in all seriousness, I think that they can be the best wrestling company in the world. And we talked about this. It doesn't mean that they're gonna overtake WWE. That's never going to happen in our lifetimes. But you know what that does mean? It does mean that WWE, who we've talked about, is shifting away from being a wrestling company. Like, they have the potential to overtake them as far as the wrestling aspect of their business. Because WWE is doing movies. They want to do shows and documentaries and all that kind of stuff. And they can consolidate that market. But AEW, I think, is going to be able to one day consolidate, the hardcore wrestling fans. If those NXT marks will ever stop posting memes about AEW getting buried for having like the highest viewership in the only demo that people care about, the only demo that the people in charge who make money care about. But
True.
We'll see. I look, I love wrestling. SmackDown is a great show, as is Dynamite. Raw, trash, utter garbage, as they say. Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.